mistake.
Hi guys,
You are more
good to see you, Martin. Good to see you, Leah. Good to see everyone that's joining. Keep joining, keep inviting people.
everything, you are everything. The first and last, and the distance in between. Everything, everything, you are everything. The first and last, and everything in between.
Ben Maidera, good to see you. Pastor Badaya, good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Everything, everything, you are everything.
Tag someone, share in a group, share on your wall. You are more than the words we sing. You are everything. Sing it again. Waymaker, you can never lose your way. Hey Winnie, good to see
You're
you.
the truth and life. It's not possible for you to lie. Forever the same. You can never make a mistake. You are more than the words we sing. You are everything. Everything, everything. You are everything. You're the first and last, the distance in between.
Tag someone.
Everything, you are everything. The first and last, everything in between. Everything, everything, you are everything. Everything, everything, you are everything.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm very happy to have you guys. Yes, Leah, he is everything. Pastor David Kahoy, I see you. Thank you so much for joining.
Beside you there is none. You've proven time after time. We'll bless you time after time. For you are God. Beside you there is no one. You've proven time after time. We'll bless you time after time. For you are God. Beside you there is no one. You prove it time. I will bless you
Hey Caroline, Yahudi, thank you for joining.
time after time. Everything, everything.
He is everything. That song gives me goosebumps, guys.
The first and last, and everything in between. Everything, everything, you are everything. The first
If you want to hear that song in its entirety, so go to Ada Ehi. It's called Everything. It will bless you, man. It will bless you. So thank you so much for everyone that's joining. I appreciate your company. Thank you. I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. I am. It's a cold Sunday, so I'm drinking some tea here to keep me warm. So I hope you have had time to tag someone, to invite someone. Continue. It's not too late. Tag someone to watch with you. Today's topic is really important. We have to know ourselves. Otherwise, we will be used, misused, and abused. You can be guaranteed of that. That's guarantee. If you don't know yourself, you will be used, misused, and abused, even without knowing it. And sometimes we do it to ourselves without knowing that's what we are doing. So it's very important for us to know there are two versions inside one person. There's a version that you know, and there's a version that God knows. Now, the version that you know, the world knows, the one that is known. You were born as a daughter to so-and-so, say like me. I was born, I'm a daughter to Florence and Joshua Keinama. I haven't used that word for a long time. And I am a daughter, I am a sibling, I have brothers and sisters. My name is Stella Wajiro Keinama. That's who I know myself. That's how I grew up knowing who I was. And I follow my desires, I follow my lights, I follow what I feel like I should do. I was educated as much as I could. But that's what is known to me. That is what I know. And all I wanted to be was a nurse. And so I pursued that. And I was pursuing happiness and joy and peace through so many various things. I pursued it through, I said, I need to be educated. And so I went to school. I pursued a career. I pursued marriage. I pursued relationships. And I attained all these things, not knowing, hoping that I'm looking for happiness, I'm looking for joy. But what I didn't know is that's not how you get joy. The version that I know of Stella looks for joy, looks for happiness in things, in doing, in being educated, in pursuing career and earning the most money, pursuing marriage, getting married, and that backfired big time, right? I got a career. Did that make you fulfilled? Did that make me fulfilled? Not at all, okay? I pursued relationships. It doesn't matter who you sleep with, who you go out with, who you marry. That will not bring you to the point of full happiness and fulfillment. So that's the version that we know. That's the version that the world tells us, pursue this, you'll be happy. If I buy this kind of a house, if I stay in this kind of a house, I will be happy. If my children look like this, I will be happy. If I go to this level of education, if I have this many degrees, I'll be happy. And so the world pushes us to pursue things, to pursue titles, to pursue education, pursue this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that's a version, a worldly version of you. Now, the problem with that is every time you get one of those things you pursued, you expect to feel a certain way, but you don't feel it. And you feel it maybe, but just for a short time, and then it disappears, and you wonder, wait, I thought if I build this beautiful house, if I get married, if I get these children, if I get this and I get that, I will be fulfilled. Yet, there is always something else hanging in the balance and saying, if you get this, now you will be fulfilled. Now you will be happy. And so we pursue things, we pursue status, we pursue titles, we pursue things that don't really satisfy us. And that's the way the system of the world is supposed to be. Now, the problem is, thank you so much for everyone that's joining. Alice, I see you. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Pastor Kahoy. So all these things that we pursue, when we get there, we realize, it was an empty promise because I don't feel fulfilled. And even if I feel good, it don't last that long because I notice, I need to get one more of this. I need to get one more degree. I need to now build a bigger house. And you keep pursuing things, and that That is the trap of the enemy. Now, the other version is the version that God says in Jeremiah 1:5. And he told Jeremiah that before I formed you, let me read it so I don't misquote it. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. That's the version that God knows. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. So that's God speaking to Jeremiah. And he's telling you, you know the Jeremiah, this shy guy who can't speak in public. You feel like you're too young to address this generation and these people that I'm sending you to. But that's the version that you know. The version that I know is I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. And so you think you're shy, but that's the version that you know. The version that I know, I appointed you long time ago, before you were even born, to become my prophet. And a prophet should be bold enough to speak to nations, to speak to people. So you can say you are shy, Jeremiah, and I'm telling you you are a prophet. That will not work. So this is what you need to do. You put aside what you know. You put aside the Jeremiah you know, that shy young guy, and you let me use the one I know. Because in you, there are two versions. There's the version that you know, and you are limited. You feel like, I can't do this. This is for people who have this kind of education. These are for people who have this kind of background. This is for people who have done this and achieved this and did this and done that. But God is whispering something in your spirit telling you, I want you to do this. And you're fighting within you, telling God, that's not me. That's not me. Even like he did with Moses. He told Moses, go and rescue my people in Egypt. And Moses is busy telling God, I stammer. My speech is not that great. You know, and God is telling him, who made your tongue? Who made that mouth? I would have made you dumb if I wanted to. So that tongue, I know it can speak because I made it. So there must be someone right here, right now watching, and you feel in your spirit there's something that God is guiding you to do, wants you to do. But the person you know, the version you know, the version that people know, because there are people who know you as this kind. There are people who know you as a businessman. There are people who knows you as this and that. And you can't break that from that mold, from what you know, what your parents know, what people know, to come to this side of what God knows. And that's where you need courage. That's where you need bravery. That's how you need to trust and believe that the God that is calling you know what he's doing. But I have to tell you, it's a fight. It's a fight, especially from within. And if you don't win within and you look for help outside and you look for people to affirm you and tell you you can do this, which is something you have never done, chances are you will not pursue that. Because most people know you and put you in a box and tell you this is who you are. You are a nurse, Stella. Do you know how hard it was for me to really believe that God is telling me to speak? Do you know, I believed myself I was a shy introvert and I don't know how to speak, not in front of people. Please don't make me do this. I don't know how to. I can't do this. This is for people who have done this, who have gone to communication schools, those things that they are taught how to do public speaking. I've not attended any of this. So if you tell me to do this, I will fail. But God is telling you, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. So I knew the Stella you think you can't be. I knew you that you can't even imagine being. And sometimes it takes you risking doing what it is that he's telling you to do, because that's when he will come and empower you. Because now when I opened my mouth, man, let me tell you something. Before I did the first show, I couldn't sleep. I had no peace. I had no joy. I was like so restless. I was like, God, man, what if it's me thinking this thing? But I was so restless inside. I knew it can't be me. It can't be me. You have to know how God talks to you. Because if you don't know, you will think that something is stressing you, but you don't know this is God pushing you to do something. So I knew this is not me, man. But I'm gonna risk doing it. If I fail, well, I tried, but I don't want to disobey what I feel God is telling me to do. And so that night, before I did my fast show, man, I couldn't sleep all night. And I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning. I was trying to go to the bathroom, and I stood up and I felt the world going like this, and I almost fainted. And I was like, wait a second, this is not normal. So there was a fight. There was a fight because the devil knows if she does this, then she'll break through. She'll break through whatever she was supposed to do. There is going to be a big, big fight between who you are and who you are called to be. And it will take prayer and you believe in God for you to break through that. It's a wall. And the devil, who is the enemy of your destiny, he's counting on you not believing what God is saying. Because when God rescues you, he don't only rescue you, he rescues you and he rescues the people that you are supposed to influence. So he's very worried and very afraid of you believing what God is saying. So there's two of these versions that we need to look at today. Because the worldly version pursues joy, pursues happiness, pursues peace through the things we get, how much money we make, how much we can do, the houses I got, the properties I got. And now you get this and you feel like, why am I still not happy? And the devil comes and whispers in your head and says, well, if you are bored, go drink some alcohol. And you go drink some alcohol and you get happy for a minute, you laugh around with your friends, you play, you talk, and you feel happy for a minute until that alcohol falls off, until alcohol drains out, until you get sober again and you realize, okay, I'm still in the same place. It tells you if you are sad, the world tells you if you are sad, look for a relationship. And so you grab someone or you marry someone and you're hoping to feel fulfilled. You're hoping to make sure that should bring you the joy, that should bring you the happiness. Come on, you are unhappy because you are single. Now you're married, you should be happy. And you realize that was not it. And so we keep pursuing things and looks and anything you know, all these things we pursue. I know all the things I pursued before I figured out what is this. But none of those things really fulfilled me. And so, when you're in the world, you believe I'm so-and-so's daughter. But when you're in God, and this is what happens. For you to get from this side of where you don't know yourself as the version that God knows you, because that's the one that puts the devil to rest. When you know who God calls you to be, that's when you put the devil back where he belongs. Because if you don't know, he will tell you, for you to be happy, drink. For you to be entertained, sleep around. For you to do this, do this. All these things he's telling you, they are traps. And in one of those traps, you will fall through. And you don't know which one. Some of us never recover. Some of us tried alcohol one time and we became addicted. Some of us tried drugs one time, and you become addicted. Because the devil whispered, try this, try that, try this, try sleeping around, try, and you get into a place where you can never now let yourself out because you are hooked. Now, that's what the plan of the devil is. Now, the plan of God on the other side is to tell you, listen, this is not how you pursue happiness. He opens your eyes because when you're in the world, this version that you know is blind. It's blind to the things of God. So what God does is he brings you into an awareness. He opens your eyes. He opens and your eyes might be seeing like I'm seeing now, but your spiritual eyes are blind. So what God does is he takes out the blindfold. He takes away the blindness in your eyes of the spirit and you start seeing afresh. And you realize all these things that the devil was whispering for me to try, they were actually traps. He's trying to see which one will hook me. He's trying to see, is she gonna get addicted to alcohol or to sex or to drugs or to a marriage that is dysfunctional or an abusive? Which one is gonna get her? Because when I get her hooked to something, then I know she will not fulfill her destiny. But what God does is he gives you an awakening. It's called an awakening. So when he awakens your spirit, and now you start seeing with the eyes of the spirit, not just this one, not just what you see. You see with the eyes of your spirit, and you start realizing there's more than what I can see with my eyes. This desire to drink is not just in me. This is a bondage. This is a trap from hell to make me stuck in this situation. And you start seeing more. And now you know that happiness, joy, peace, love will not come from all these things you have been trying. It will come from knowing who you are in God. And letting God invade your presence, invade your spirit, and stay in you. Then you won't have to look for joy in sex. You won't have to look for happiness in alcohol. You won't have to look for anything else outside, because it's within. Now, when people are in the world, I remember when I used to get saved like a lot. Because I was like, man, I sinned. Maybe I backslid before I knew it. And so anytime the pastor would say, anyone who want to get saved, I will lift my head like up to here, because I was saved, but now I have sinned in between, and I feel like, I don't know if I'm saved anymore. And so I would lift my head and get saved again and again and again. And so the devil used to whisper to me, oh, but you sinned. All I needed to do was to repent, not to get saved again, right? But I said, got saved again and again and again and again. But even in this getting saved, I was like, but how do I maintain this getting saved? Because in my mind, all I needed to get saved for is to go to heaven. Because that's how we have been taught. You get saved, so when you die, you go to heaven. But that's not the reason, the only reason for you to get saved. Because imagine, if we got saved, God knows we are living in the world of sin. If he really wants people in heaven, he would pull you up just as soon as you get saved, so you don't get into sin. Before you get into sin, he snatches you, right? And takes you to heaven. But that's not what he does. Because when he saves us, it's now, and we allow him, he will come and walk with us step by step and show us what it is that we were supposed to do in this world before we finally go and rest in eternity with him. That's the ultimate goal, to go to heaven and stay with our Father, right? But before that time, you have something to accomplish in this world. That's the purpose. That's what he puts you in this world to do. So when he saves you, he starts pulling all these things that the enemy put in you. You tried alcohol, and now you realize, alcohol is not doing me any good. You tried sex, it's not really doing me any good, because as soon as that excitement is over, I'm back to the me that I know, and the me that I'm not proud of, and the me that is guilty and ashamed. Okay, so he starts showing you this is how you go. The Bible says don't fornicate, and he starts giving you the strength with the spirit, because you allowed his spirit to join you, his spirit to guide you. Now he will start convicting you every time you do something off, every time you do something wrong. The spirit inside you will feel like, I shouldn't have done that. Oof, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have entertained that conversation. I shouldn't have done this. It's convicting you of what you should stop doing. And so this is how God teaches us how to become like him, like how to become like Christ. And now he's forming you, he's transforming you from this version that you know to the version that he knows. And this is the version that he knows, the one he knew before he put in your mother's womb, the one that he knew before the foundation of the earth, the one that he appointed and put aside for this particular purpose. That's the one he's making you to become. And that process is not pretty. I can tell you it is. It's not pretty, because you start realizing, all these things I was doing, I've done so many bad things. And part of us, we don't really know how to let go of all the things we did before. We don't know how to let go of the things we committed, all these fornications, all this drinking, all this fighting we did before we got into this other version. But God wants you to, as soon as you say you are saved, the blood of Jesus washes you clean. And now He will start showing you. It doesn't mean you will not desire alcohol if you used to drink. You will desire it. But now it will not fulfill you like it used to. It will not make you happy like it used to. You desire to sleep around, but when you do, the Spirit convicts you and tells you, remember, your body is the place where God lives. The Spirit of God lives in you. That's His temple. So you can't be switching partner from partner because you're making your body dirty. You're making the temple dirty. So God starts showing you how to become. Okay, and so today I wanted to encourage someone. There must be someone who is in the middle of this process and you are like, okay, what is happening? But God is making you into a person He can use. He's showing you how to walk in His ways, how to obey His word, how to listen to Him when He speaks. When He tells you, you used to be, let's say you used to be a businessman. That's how you know yourself all your life. You've done business. And now God is telling you, I want you to start a ministry and do this and talk to this. Maybe talk to men. Maybe talk to children. Maybe talk to this kind of particular section of this generation. And you are fighting it within you because you don't know yourself like that. That's not how you know yourself. That's not what you even went to school for. And now He's telling you to remember, when God tells you to do something, He has been preparing you for it, whether you know it or you don't. He has been preparing you and making you ready for that particular purpose. And He's trying to hone your way, hone your desire, showing you how to obey His commands. So that when He say turn left, you will turn left. When He say go to this place and say this, you will become like Jeremiah. He will send you to nations. He will send you to people. He will send you to different kinds of nationalities to tell them what it is that He wants to tell them. But you have to believe and to know that the version that you know and the version that He knows might not be the same. Usually never the same. So you have to believe, if God is telling you to do this, He has been preparing you, and what He wants is obedience. He wants you to obey and believe He's saying that. And when you follow that, even you take one step forward and God comes and meets you in the middle and you do it together. And it's a beautiful thing when you and God become partners in doing something. It's important that you know your friends might not understand it. Your family might not understand it. The people you go to, wherever you go to with them, they may not understand it. But follow what God is saying in your spirit, and it will lead you to your purpose. So I want you to know, this world version of us, we have competition. You don't want to see someone who is higher than you, who is doing better than you, so you try to catch up with them. And we are always running. There is jealousy. There is pride. There is hate. There is revenge. Oh, they did this to me. I have to avenge myself. There is all that in this world reversion. There is addictions because the devil wants you hooked into something that now it will take something much more stronger to first of all deliver you before it takes you to where you're supposed to be. Now, all these things you are doing, all these things we do, trying to pursue happiness, they will now, I'm sure someone who is watching this have known that this does not bring me joy. Even though the people around me seem like they are okay with it, inside I know I'm not. And you have to be courageous to take a step of faith and do what God is telling you to do. If He's telling you stop hanging out with those people, obey. If He's telling you stop engaging in this relationship, you have to pull out. If He's telling you you're better than the way the people you are hanging around, detach in every way. And some of us, our businesses, our careers have been affected with this COVID, but what we don't know or what we didn't know is God is working all this so He can point you to what He knows about you. So what you need to know to do is not fight it. Trust him. That's where trusting God comes in, and believe that he has a plan for your future, a very good plan for your future, a plan to give you a future and a hope. So when God opens your eyes, there's gonna be conflict because you will feel like, I've never done this before. Moses is saying like, how can I even deliver people? First of all, they don't even care about me. They were about to report me to Pharaoh last time I tried that, right? And now you're telling me to go back? But when God is telling you to go to that place, he's already made provision. He's already made the way clear. He's already put a place clearly, so a place like set for you to occupy. He just needs you to trust him and take that step. And when you do, then his spirit comes and empowers you, and you start seeing, oh, I didn't know I could speak. I thought I was a shy, timid girl. Who is this speaking to people? I can't even believe that I can encourage someone. I can't even believe that God can use me like this. I mean, I always knew myself as a shy, timid person who is afraid of people. If you put me if I walk in a church, I don't go in the front. I go in the back because I'm like, I don't need to be in the front. I just want to sit back here and listen to what this person is talking about. But then God pulls you from the back. You're used to sitting in the back, and he shows you, no, you're supposed to be in the front. Not just sitting there, but speaking yourself. So there's going to be conflict. First of all, inside you. So, but you have to trust and to ignore. Man, you have to learn to ignore the noises around you. You have to learn to ignore what people think. Think you're making a mistake. They think you're making a bladder. What do you mean you're going to stop working and follow your dreams? It's not going to make sense to anybody. And it's not supposed to. It's not even going to make sense to you. You yourself. It's not going to make sense. But if God is pulling you in that direction, follow. Trust him enough to know that he will not take you that high and then drop you. His plans for you are for good and not evil. So you cannot be afraid to try new things, especially if God is telling you to do it. So I used to look at people who are, and I know that's the norm, you look at people who are saved and you're like, oh my God, their life is so boring. You feel for them, right? Because, I mean, they can't drink, they can't sleep around, they can't do this. What do they do for fun? Until I was awakened. Until I realized, man, this is what I've been missing. I thought I was having fun, but all this time I was abusing my body. All this time I was letting the devil abuse me by introducing all these substances, alcohol, whatever, drugs, whatever, sex, all these things he introduced in my body. He was misusing me. He was abusing me. And I allowed it because I thought that was fun. I thought this is my idea of fun. There must be someone out there who is looking for themselves. And you feel like you have been used, you have misused, you have been abused by the system of the world. And you're supposed to feel like that because that's all it does. At the end of the day, that's all it will do. It will use you, misuse you, and abuse you until you cross on the other side and you realize, whoa, there is joy here. There is love. There is peace. All these things are available in this other side, on this other side. And so it will take you trusting God, right? That he is the one that is calling you and that will guide you towards the other path. The path that is going to lead you to the good. Now, this is how people classify. When you're in the world, you are so and so's daughter. But when you come on this other side, you know that you are a seed sent from heaven and you came through your mother and father. They are just a port where you came through. You know, when we are coming to America, there's a place we call the port of entry. That is where you land in America. It might not be where you are staying, but that's the airport that welcomes you, where you are immigration things will go through, and you'll be either taken back or allowed to come in. That's the port of entry. So your parents were the port of entry by which you came into this world, but you are sent from heaven. And so when we are in the world, we say, Stella is so-and-so's daughter, my mom and my dad. But in reality, when God opens your eyes to know the truth, you realize my mom and dad were just what God used. So because I needed to look the way I look, I needed to be the person I am, the genetically, looks, everything. I had to look like this. God, that's how he saw me. And he knew the two people that would give me this kind of looks. And he put my mom and my dad together. They weren't even looking for a kid. I doubt it. They were probably having fun. So now I come through. So now I'm a seed sent from heaven. And now we look in the world, we realize I come from either rich, middle class, or poor background. And now you carry yourself according to that. Oh, well, we are poor. I can't do this because my family is poor. Or I come from a rich background. I feel I can do this because that's how we evaluate ourselves. But on the other side, the God side, it says this was just preparation. This is the background that you needed to come through so I can prepare you for where I will put you later on. Right? So when you're in the world, you're either thinking, I'm lucky, I always win, and somebody else think, I'm unlucky, I don't get anything right. But both of those, in the other side, is you're highly favored. Whatever works, whatever doesn't work, it's all according to the plan of God to lead you somewhere. Okay, so we look at these things like, oh, I'm rich, because now we get to a place we make some money, and you can consider yourself either rich or poor. But all this, when you know God, when you know who you are in God, you realize it's not about the material things that I can acquire in this life. I have everything as long as I have God inside me. These other material things are additions that God can always give me when I'm ready to receive them. And I'm supposed to be a steward to use them as directed to bring joy and fulfillment in the kingdom, right? So in the world, we consider someone either beautiful or otherwise, right? But in kingdom, because it's a world and kingdom. In the kingdom, we are all masterpieces. Beauty, looks is not what you see. Beauty is what we all are. It's what we all are. And however you look, however I look, it's beautiful because God designed it to look like that. He designed you to look the way you look, and he says you are a masterpiece. He designed me to look the way I do, and he says I am a masterpiece. And you have to believe that, because if you let the world define you, they will say, oh, so-and-so is beautiful, so-and-so is not. Now, what do you feel like when you are classified in this class of not beautiful? You hate yourself, you have insecurities, you have all these issues, confidence issues, because the world thinks you're not beautiful. Don't even try to imagine yourself in that kind of view. Let God tell you, you are a masterpiece. I build you like this for my purpose. You are this tall for my purpose. You are this wide for my purpose. You are this short for my purpose. You are dark, you are light, you are white, you are black for my purpose. It doesn't matter the outside looks. We are all masterpieces. When you get there, you realize nothing people say around you, no way people classify you can define you. You are who you are for God's glory. All right? Now, when we're in the world, we think about you're either educated or illiterate. You know, because we say, this one, he didn't even go to school. But in the kingdom, you don't need to go to school to become who you are supposed to be. You can be like you never even went to nursery school, yet you live to fulfill your purpose because you didn't need classes. Some of us are educated in classes, some of us are educated in the wilderness. And both of that is necessary. And however God educates you and allows your education to go as much as he can use you. So it's not about who has many degrees and who doesn't. It doesn't matter. as long as it's for your purpose, because it's no competition in the kingdom, right? Now, are we single or are we married when we are in the world? And now, because you are single, you feel like, oh man, lucky them, they are married. What in the kingdom, this is a season. And in every one of those seasons, God have a purpose for it. If you're single, there's something he can achieve and accomplish with you alone. And when he gives you a partner, it's not just for reproduction, so we can say lovey-dovey, oh, let's have another baby. Not just for that. There's a bigger purpose for marriages in the kingdom. But in this other side, it's like competition. Are you single? Are you married? You know, that's why there are so many insecurities in the world today. Because you're considering all these things. Now, in the world, we say you're either accomplished or you're good for nothing. Right? I heard this guy say, my son is good for nothing, forget him. You know, people can classify you that because the level they think accomplishment is, you have not quite reached there. But in the kingdom, accomplishment comes when you are walking and doing what God placed you in this earth to do. If you are called to touch one life and you have touched that one life, you're done your thing. That's it. You have accomplished what you came here to do. So it doesn't matter whether you live in a mansion or on the street, whatever you do, as long as you do what God sent you here to do, you have accomplished your mission. And our missions sometimes vary. Your mission this time is to raise your children. Your mission next time is to go and take care of an elderly person, an elderly relative. And another time, your mission changes to something else. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, what God wants you to do in that season, you have accomplished. You are very accomplished. Don't let the world define whether you are accomplished or good for nothing. Don't let that happen. Now, about being happy and unhappy, we've already discussed that. So don't consider yourself that you're looking for happiness by chasing things, chasing material things, chasing relationships, chasing marriage, chasing whatever. Don't let the world trick you into that cycle because it never ends. It will always, even you're 70 and you are like, I'm still trying to get that piece of land. So and so bought it against me. I'm trying to carry and they got it. You'll always be fighting. Even in your old age when you're supposed to be in a rocking chair playing with your grandchildren, you're still fighting because it's a cycle. But when you go in the kingdom side, happiness, it springs from within you. Joy is within you because the Spirit of God is the one that gives all those things and He is in you. So people will see you smiling, people will see you happy, and they'll be wondering, how is she happy? She ain't got nothing. She don't have any property. She's single. She's that. She's this. And you're like, how do you even smile? You have nothing. But you're judging from the world point of view. But in the kingdom, I sleep peacefully, whether I have something or I don't, because of who is inside me, because of who lives in me, because He's everything. Everything. All right. Now, about this idea of feeling like, oh, these believers, man, they don't have a life. They are boring. What do they even do for fun? I don't want to become a believer because I can't drink, I can't sleep around, I can't do this. And you feel like I pity them. But in the kingdom, the people who are awakened, the people who really know God and who are in the kingdom, they look at you and pity you and pray for you because they know the difference is you are lost. You have not found the light. That's why you think your joy, your happiness comes from all these things you are doing. But in essence, you are misusing and abusing your body. And the enemy wants you to stay in that corner. So that before you wise up and realize that you are meant to do something on earth, something major, something that will make your name remain even when you're long gone, he traps you. In the process, there are people who have died in alcohol, joints, or whatever. They have died in some addictions, but that was the trap that the enemy set. Before they wake up to realize, oh man, I was supposed to change this generation. And usually what you're addicted to leads you to the area that you're supposed to go and deliver people from. But the devil knows. So he fights you to stay there. And he brings people around you to encourage you. Let's go drink. Even when you don't want to, let's go drink. But the devil knows, as long as he drink enough of this, then he'll be hooked. So I pray that God will awaken you, man, because this world needs changing. The generations coming after us, they will need us to be in position so we can set the pace into which they will follow. Now, when we are stuck in our things, when we are stuck in the worldly competition, jealousy, pride, all these hate, revenge, all these things, and our children are watching, they will follow the same footsteps. But when we are awakened and we start seeing life like God sees it, seeing ourselves like God sees us, I'm a masterpiece, man. I'm a temple of God. I can't let you use me. I can't be going everywhere. I am messing up my body, and that's the temple of God. I can't do that. When you wake up to who you are, you stop letting the devil and people use you, misuse you, and abuse you. That'll be the end. So what I pray and what you should pray for is for God to open your eyes, God to reveal to you, who am I? Who did you know me as before you made me in my mother's womb? Now that I know my mom and my dad were just the tunnel through which I came in this world, and you sent me from heaven through them, and I grew up in this poor, middle class, or rich background, what did you want me to learn from this? What did you plan for me to do in this life? And you start pursuing that, and you allow God to lead you. And disclaimer, when he starts leading you, it will feel unnatural. It will feel like you can't do it, because that's not who you know yourself as, but that's who God knows you as, and he's the one to empower you. So just follow his leading, obey. If he says one step to the left or to the right, follow that direction, because in that obedience, that's where your miracle will begin. That's where your appointment will begin, and you start sitting in the seats where God sent you and meant for you to sit. Because so many of us are stuck, because now if I know myself as a nurse and I say that's who I will be for the rest of my life, and God is telling me, no, go speak on Facebook, go say what I'm putting in your heart on Facebook, and I'm like, no, but I can't speak, no, I'm a nurse, I can't speak, and I run away from that. There are people who are meant to hear what I was meant to say through the Spirit of God, and they were supposed to change their life. Now, when I disobey and I reject what God said because I don't believe I am like that, then there are people who are suffering. There are people who are supposed to be awakened because of what God will say through me, but they will not receive their miracle because I did not obey. So for you to be afraid, there are people who will stay in bondage longer. There are people who will stay longer in this wild side of you. But that's where the Bible says, don't be conformed to this world. Don't get stuck. Don't think this is the only way to do life. There's another way. Let God transform you. And transforming you comes when his Spirit, you allow, that's a big word, because I know when all these times I was not saved, I was saved and getting saved over and over again, I didn't allow God to guide me. But when you allow the Spirit of God to inhibit you and to guide you in the ways of God, he will start showing you, okay, you think alcohol will serve you? Drink. Let me see how that will take you. And you drink and you're like, oh man, it still feels terrible. I'm still in bondage. I'm still in this situation. And you start realizing, okay, alcohol will never save me. It will never change me. And you start going to the next step. And he will start taking away all these labels, all these things that you had in mind. That's what you need to be accomplished in life. And he will start showing you, do this, and do this, and do this. And when his Spirit leads you, do what it is that he is leading you to do. So I pray that you will go past your fears and you will let God take you where he had in mind for you. And you will let him show you who he new you is. The version, that's the upgrade. The ultimate upgrade is when you start living as the version God knew from the beginning of the world. When you start living in that version, man, the devil is so aggravated and mad because now he realizes, man, I've lost one. And I didn't just lose one, because when he lost you, that's the problem with the devil. He knows when you get into this side of the kingdom, you don't go by yourself. First of all, you bring your family, you bring the people that you are supposed to influence with you, and he's losing souls. Losing souls is not just about salvation, getting saved, because there are so many people who are saved, but they are lukewarm, and they are like, I'm kingdom today, I'm world tomorrow. I'm this, I'm this. That person, man, the devil can snatch you like this. It's when you make up your mind, I've done world enough, and now I'm going to be in the kingdom. I will do what God wants me to do. When you do that, when you get there, not only will you affect your own life, you will affect the lives of your children, your children's children, and the people you are called to influence will be changed because of your obedience. So I guess today's call is believe what God is saying in your spirit. This is who you are. Even though it's not natural to you, even though it doesn't make sense to you, even though that's not how you know yourself, believe him, because he knows what he put inside you. He's been making you, he's been preparing you, he's been installing the necessary apps in you. When you get into that place and you open your mouth, things will come out that you didn't even know you had in you. But the key is to obey. Can I obey the Spirit of God? And you will live free. You will live happy. And as people look at you and feel like your life is boring, you pray for them, because they don't know the idea. They have no clue just what joy and happiness and peace is in the Spirit. So I will leave you with one word. Pay attention to what God is saying inside you. Ask him, God, who do you know me as? What is my upgrade? What's the version you know of me? Because I'm tired of living this version that I know. It's not fulfilling me. Show me what it is that you know me as. Show me, lead me into that place. And when he leads you, be brave enough to embrace that change. It's a huge change sometimes, but you have to be brave enough to embrace it. So I leave you at that, and I'll pray that you will follow what God says that you are. You will know that you are a masterpiece, that your beauty, that your accomplishments, that your riches is not about the world review. It's not how people say what is rich, what is beautiful, what is accomplished. It is in the kingdom. And when God gives you that, you have everything. So guys, thank you so much for joining. That will be it for today. Share this video. Let people get free from this cycle of running after this, after the other, and let us live free and serve God and change this world, change generations to come. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Alice, everyone that watched today. I really appreciate it. Share this video with a friend, with a family member, and let us break free together. And the devil will lose souls after this. But I know he'll be mad. But it don't scare me. I got the biggest strength inside me. So anyways, you have a beautiful day. And I will see you Sunday, same time, same place. Share this video. And you can also, by the way, I have a YouTube channel. You go in there and like my page. I would really appreciate it. And you can also watch the show over there. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye.